You know, as Bertrand Russell once said, the whole problem with the world is that fools and fanatics are always so certain of themselves, and wiser people so full of doubt.
And so I did a study abroad in the Middle East with Israel and Palestine.
Would you say you're pro-Palestine or pro-Israel?
Pro-Palestine.
As a gay man, I would be punished and or put in prison or killed if I were openly gay in Palestine. How do you react to that?
I didn't know that. So
it is illegal to be gay in Palestine. You are punished by prison or death.
Israel?
No, Israel has gay pride. Israel is completely open to lesbian and gay people. So Palestine puts them in prison or kills them. You weren't aware of that?
I was not aware of that, no. So that does pose an interesting aspect.
Have you seen the Queers for Palestine movement? It's a very common movement, but I don't see any Muslims for queer movements.
Yes. That's where it gets gray, right? Like, that's where I feel
like... for me, it's not gray. I am fearful of Islam because there is no Islamic country on earth that embraces me as a gay man.
So, okay, so maybe I'm confused because Israel, which is still an Islam country, right?
No, Jewish.
Okay.
So Israel's Jewish.
Just by calling it an Islam country, you can tell how little she knows of the topic.
Palestinians are Islamic.
Okay.
Wow. She questioned her entire life right here. People don't know, but you can't be openly gay in Gaza. The moment you are openly gay in Gaza, you might get killed.
These stills, dated March 2015, purport to show a man being thrown from a building. According to the last caption, he was also then stoned to death, his alleged crime being gay. These images were posted by ISIS in its stronghold of Raqqa. This series as well, from January, show an older man seated in a chair and then tumbling to the ground. Also in January, these from ISIS in Mosul, 2 men murdered in the same manner. In all the photographs, dozens of people are seen watching the killings, seemingly unfazed.
Obviously, some of these fools in Western countries protesting in favor of terrorist groups like Hamas have, honestly, no clue what they are protesting for. Let's be clear. The one thing that all these radical Islamist fanatic terrorist groups have in common, whether it's the IRGC terrorists or the Iranian regime, Hamas, ISIS, the Muslim Brotherhood, or Hezbollah, is their goal of ending Western civilization. To them, that means destroying Israel and America, murdering homosexuals, Jews, Christians, atheists, Hindus, or really any other group that does not believe what they believe. They call us non-believers. Listen to what they say.
إن حضارة فرنسا والغرب حضارة كاذبة خاطئة حضارة إلحاد وكفر فهم يكرهون دين الله الحق دين التوحيد حضارتهم حضارة عهر وفجور وشذوذ لهذا فهم يحقدون على النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يا مكرون الزم حدك يا مكرون الزم حدك بالجهاد نهدم مسجدك بالجهاد نهدم مسجدك يا مكرون يا خسيس يا مكرون يا خسيس بكره رح نفتح باريس
You think it's all talk? Think again. This is Paris a few weeks ago with the pretext of a soccer match.
Hezbollah is no longer just a Middle Eastern problem. It's knocking on Europe's door, and in some places it's already inside. From London to Barcelona, terror networks are growing, sleeper cells are activating, and Europe is sleepwalking into a crisis it refuses to name. Islamist extremism fueled by mass immigration, and now empowered by Iranian proxies like Hezbollah. Let's break it down. On April 3rd, London's Counter-Terrorism Command arrested 2 men, one for preparing acts of terrorism and funding Hezbollah, the other from membership in the terror group. Not in Beirut, not in Tehran, North and West London. Hezbollah, a group banned by the UK as a terrorist organization since 2019, is actively recruiting and funneling funds right under the British government's nose. And that's not all. Just 2 days earlier, on April 1st, Spanish authorities arrested 3 Lebanese nationals in Barcelona for manufacturing explosive drones for Hezbollah. And where? Just blocks away from a synagogue and a Jewish school. What kind of message does that send? This wasn't the first time. Back in July 2024, a joint Spanish-German operation dismantled a Hezbollah-linked drone network across Europe, arresting 4 individuals in Spain and Germany, and uncovering materials to build over 1,000 armed drones. Their targets? Israeli military and civilian zones, and potential targets in Europe itself. Let that sink in. Weapons of war being assembled in European cities by Iran-backed terrorists hiding in plain sight.
Radicalized Islamic fanatics are also being caught in America.
The House is reiterating that more than 1,500 Iranian nationals were released into the country during the Biden administration. Former DHS Secretary Jay Johnson says it's become a pressing security concern.
The presence in this country of undocumented migrants or Iranian nationals who have links to Hezbollah, IRGC, is, in my judgment, a domestic law enforcement concern of the highest magnitude. And sleepers don't necessarily follow the direction from their sponsors.
Adapting the concept of intifada. Violence will follow.
Italy is at a breaking point. A once Christian nation now faces a tidal wave of Islamization. Churches defaced, crime surging, entire neighborhoods transformed beyond recognition. This is not just migration. This is an invasion of culture, values, and identity. Italy is not alone in this fight. France, Germany, and Sweden are all struggling with similar issues.
They use the same playbook everywhere. Radical fanatic immigrants and youth indoctrination lead to radicalized constituencies, which then lead to radical candidates. You get my point, right?
Schools are under pressure to introduce more Islamic-friendly policies, from halal meals to gender-segregated spaces. Why is British education being reshaped to fit Islamic values? Over 80 Sharia courts operate in the UK. Do these undermine British common law? And should religious arbitration have a place in a democratic nation? The Muslim population was 3.9 million in 2021, and by 2030, it's expected to reach 8.2%, a staggering doubling in just 2 decades. More Muslim politicians are in power than ever before. In 2024, Naz Shah took her oath as a member of parliament, swearing on the Quran, not the Bible, and she is not alone. Several key city leaders are now Muslim. London Mayor Sadiq Khan, Leeds Lord Mayor Abigail Marshall Khatun, Blackburn Mayor Parwaiz Akhtar, Oxford Lord Mayor Lubna Arshad, Luton Mayor Tamina Salim, Oldham Mayor Zahid Chauhan, Rochdale Mayor Shakil Ahmed. Policies are changing. Islamic holidays gaining official recognition, Sharia-compliant financial services expanding, and multicultural initiatives being funded at unprecedented levels. And with this shift in leadership comes a shift in priorities.
Could this happen in America? Let's take a look at New York City. Between 34 and 37% of New York City residents were born outside the USA. One of these is Mamdani, who just won the New York City primaries and will be the Democratic candidate for mayor. His father is a professor at Columbia, yes, the epicenter of the recent pro-Hamas terrorists supporting protests. This is what he believes.
I don't see any rise of anti-Semitism. I see a rise of anti-Zionism. The two things are very different. They're not the same.
Mamdani is one of many faculty members who signed an open letter supporting the right of pro-Palestine students to protest.
I want to ask you about an issue that has divided some New Yorkers in recent weeks. You were recently asked about the term globalize the intifada, if it makes you uncomfortable. In that moment, you did not condemn the phrase. Now, just so folks understand, it's a phrase that many people hear as a call to violence against Jews. There's been a lot of attention on this issue. So I want to give you an opportunity to respond here and now. Do you condemn that phrase, globalize the intifada?
That's not language that I use.
I will fight, and we will fight until our final breaths
to ensure that Zionism is not an entity that has the power any longer to subject anyone to an apartheid system of government. So who is ready to end U.S. military aid? Who is ready to fight for the freedom of Palestinians?
Do you condemn that phase, globalize the intifada, which a lot of people hear as a call to violence against Jews?
I've heard from many Jewish New Yorkers.
And Mayor Mamdani, would you welcome Prime Minister Netanyahu to New York City for whatever he comes for, given the US is not a signatory to the ICC, so he can travel to the US, unlike a lot of other countries. Would a Mayor Mamdani welcome Benjamin Netanyahu to the city?
No. As mayor, New York City would arrest Benjamin Netanyahu. This is a city that our values are in line with international law. It's time that our actions are also.
Well, quickly, for the people who care about the language and who feel really concerned by that phrase, why not just condemn it?
My concern is to start to walk down the line of language and making clear what language I believe is permissible or impermissible takes me into a place similar to that of the president who is looking to do those very kinds of things, putting people in jail for writing an op-ed, putting them in jail for protesting. Ultimately, it's not language that I use. It's language I understand there are concerns about. And what I will do is showcase my vision for the city through my words and my actions.
To tangible local actions, I would say that making it clear that it's not just that our tax dollars fund Israeli oppression, it's also that our city and state governments have partnerships with Israeli municipalities and the state, and that we can hold our governments accountable by really going after those partnerships and really spotlighting them and with the goal of dismantling them. I really got into organizing through the Palestinian Solidarity Movement. I co-founded my school's first Students for Justice in Palestine in college. And the same people who used to walk by me in the student union when we were organizing for an academic boycott, those same people have reached out to me since to say that they wish that they had gotten involved and that they feel differently now.
Organizations like Columbia Students for Justice in Palestine, along with individuals like Mahmoud Khalil, among others, acted in concert with Hamas, serving as its public relations wing in the US. But that's not all. These groups had prior knowledge of the Hamas attack on October 7th, based on the timing of their online activity, particularly Columbia Students for Justice in Palestine, allegedly reactivating its Instagram account 3 minutes before Hamas began its attack on October 7th, with a post announcing a meeting and urging supporters to stay tuned.
Break this down now into some of the neighborhoods, though, because I think that's where you really start to see this age. You heard Cuomo cite that young voters he said Mamdani had brought out done well with. Here's a tale of two neighborhoods in New York City. This right here, Bay Terrace in Queens. This is the highest median age of any neighborhood in New York City. And look what happened here. The oldest voters, that was Cuomo's base here in this primary. He won by a better than 2-to-1 margin over Mamdani. Take a look now. Morningside Heights. This is up by Columbia University. This is the youngest median age of any neighborhood in New York City. And look what happened here. Mamdani won it. He won it overwhelmingly.
This election is going to be decided by young voters. The average New Yorker is 38 years old. The last mayoral race was decided by 7,000 voters. That means that your vote really matters.
I supported him because he's the only non-Zionist candidate on that stage. I thought he needed to be bought and sold, but people are energetic. People are tired of the Zionism, and I'm excited to see what he's got. I'm not a socialist myself. I don't want everyone to be a communist getting free stuff.
Foreign state and non-state actors are seeding the online space with false narratives in order to impact the stability of Western democracy.
30 years ago, leaders of Hamas in America met and discussed strategy to hijack students' minds.
Israel, adapting the concept of intifada. Violence will follow.
This is not about Jews. This is about democracy. This is about human decency.
What does it mean that the future leaders of the most important democracy in the world are chanting for intifada? What is the country going to look like a decade from now?
What is at stake is the soul of America.
If you've made it this far in the video, you are definitely interested in the subject. Please like, share, and subscribe, and help us speak out. In the words of Pastor Martin Niemöller's poem, "First they came, speak out, or there will be no one left to speak out for you." First they came for the communists, and I did not speak out because I was not a communist. Then they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me and there was no one left to speak out for me.